The laughter hit me before I even saw her. It was sharp, familiar, and coldly beautiful, the kind of laugh that once made me forget everything wrong in the world. Tonight, though, it sliced through me like glass. I was standing in the middle of a crowded rooftop bar, surrounded by city lights, clinking glasses, and people who all seemed to know something I didn't. My girlfriend, Leah, stood near the edge of the terrace, framed by the glow of string lights. She looked radiant, hair perfectly curled, lips painted in that deep red she knew drove me crazy. But what caught my eye wasn't her beauty. It was the way she was smiling at someone else. And not just anyone. Evan. The guy she'd sworn was just a friend from work. The one she told me not to worry about. For a second, I convinced myself I was imagining it. The way her hand lingered on his arm. The way she leaned in just a little too close. The way he whispered something in her ear that made her blush. The same shade of red she used to when I said her name. "Marcus!" she called out suddenly, spotting me across the crowd. "You made it." Her voice was high-pitched, cheerful. Too cheerful. People turned to look at me as if I was late to my own execution. I smiled, the polite kind. Wouldn't miss it. She walked over, kissed my cheek lightly, then gestured toward Evan. "You remember Evan, right? From the office." He nodded. "Hard to forget." He laughed awkwardly, running a hand through his hair. "Good to see you, man." His voice trembled slightly. I noticed that. So did Leah. She shot him a quick glance, a silent warning maybe, and then turned back to me. "Come on, everyone's waiting. We're about to start." "Start what?" "Yes." But she didn't answer. She just took my hand, hers cold and clammy, and led me toward the center of the terrace where a small crowd had gathered. Phones were already out. I could see the reflection of their screens, recording, anticipating something. My stomach tightened. Leah stood before me, her hand slipping from mine. Her eyes flicked nervously toward the people around us before she drew in a deep breath and smiled, that fake, trembling smile I'd started recognizing lately. "Marcus," she began, her voice echoing through the soft music and chatter. "We've been together for almost 4 years now." People went quiet. Even the background music seemed to dim. My throat went dry. "Leah, what is this?" She ignored me and kept going. "And you've been nothing but patient, kind, and steady. But lately I've realized something about myself. Something I can't ignore anymore." The crowd shifted uneasily. I could hear whispers. Few people exchanged looks. Someone actually laughed under their breath. She continued, voice shaking slightly. "I don't want to lead you on anymore. I've been unhappy. And it's not fair to you." I stared at her, my mind spinning. Was she seriously doing this here? In front of everyone? "Leah," I said quietly, "can we talk about this privately?" She shook her head. "No, Marcus. I need to do this now. I owe it to myself, to be honest." Her words echoed in my head, but the truth behind them landed much harder. She wasn't doing this for honesty. She was performing. And as I looked around, at her coworkers, their smirks, their raised phones, at Evan standing off to the side trying not to meet my eyes, I understood exactly what kind of performance it was. This wasn't a breakup. It was humiliation. "Leah," I said again, more firmly now, "what's really going on?" She folded her arms, playing to her audience. "What's going on is that I've outgrown this relationship. You're controlling. You always want things your way. I can't breathe around you anymore." The crowd murmured. Someone whispered, "Wow." I felt heat rise to my face, a mix of anger and disbelief. "Controlling." "Leah, She cut me off. "See. You can't even let me finish without interrupting." There was laughter now. Actual laughter. From people who didn't know a damn thing about us. I looked around at their faces, glowing in the dim light, some amused, some pitying. My heart thudded hard against my ribs. Every instinct screamed at me to walk away, to escape this spectacle. But something deeper, colder, held me still. Because as much as it hurt, I wanted to know how far she'd go. "Is this about Evan?" I asked quietly. The laughter died instantly. Her face stiffened. Excuse me. Is this about Evan? I repeated, my voice calm now. The guy who's been texting you at midnight. The one you've been having lunch with every day. Her co-workers shifted uncomfortably. Evan froze. Marcus, she hissed, her voice trembling. Don't make this ugly. Too late, I said softly. Silence. All eyes on us. Then she did something I'll never forget. She laughed. Loudly. Oh my God, Marcus, you're paranoid. You can't stand the idea that I might have friends outside of you. A few people chuckled, though it sounded forced now. She was losing control of the narrative. I smiled faintly. You're right. I can't stand that. Especially when those friends accidentally send you heart emojis and you reply with, miss you too. Her expression faltered. Evan's phone buzzed in his pocket. He didn't move. And for the first time that night I saw it, fear, flickering behind her eyes. But she quickly masked it, putting a hand on her hip. You're embarrassing yourself. This is exactly why we're done. You twist everything into drama. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was dramatic. Because instead of walking away, I looked straight at her and said quietly, if you're done with me, then say it. Right here. Right now. Without pretending it's about growth or breathing room. The wind caught her hair, blowing it across her face. She hesitated. Say it, Leah. She swallowed hard, then straightened her shoulders. Fine. I'm done with you. Her voice cracked just slightly, but she hid it behind a smile. There it was. The end. The crowd didn't cheer, though some looked relieved, others awkward. Phones went down. Evan stared at the floor. I nodded slowly. Okay. Just that one word. Calm, quiet, steady. And then, without another glance at her, I turned and walked toward the exit. Behind me, the silence was heavy, thick with everything she hadn't said and everything I already knew. But what none of them knew, what not even she knew, was that I'd already found out everything. And by tomorrow night, I would return that humiliation tenfold. The night air was cool, but my chest burned. Every step down those stairs felt heavier than the last. Behind me, the rooftop murmurs faded into the hum of the city below. I could still hear the faint echo of her laugh, that forced, brittle sound that cracked at the edges. By the time I reached the street, I wasn't angry anymore. Not the way people expect after being humiliated in front of a crowd. Anger is too easy. What I felt was quieter. A hollow calm, like the moment after a storm when everything lies broken but still. That calm was dangerous, because it meant I was done reacting. I was planning. When Leah and I met, she was a junior marketing executive, bright-eyed and hungry for recognition. I was the boring one, a data analyst who preferred structure to chaos, calm to drama. She said that's what she loved about me. You make everything make sense, she used to whisper against my neck. But in the last 6 months, I'd started noticing small cracks. Unexplained late nights. Sudden phone calls she'd take outside. The smell of a cologne that wasn't mine clinging faintly to her dress. At first I brushed it off, paranoia, I told myself. Love makes you defend the very person who's betraying you. Then I saw the messages. Accidentally, of course. Her laptop had synced to our shared cloud account. Photo. Her and Evan. Nothing explicit, but the caption gutted me. Wish you were here instead of him. That was 2 weeks ago. And I hadn't confronted her. Not then. Instead I watched. Waited. I let her believe I was oblivious. The day after the rooftop breakup, my phone buzzed non-stop. Mutual friends reached out pretending to care. Her co-workers whispered, probably replaying the footage over coffee. The video had made its way online already. Leah standing tall, taking her power back, while I stood silent. Comments praised her bravery, mocked my expression. Poor guy didn't even see it coming. Good for her, getting out of a toxic relationship. She was winning her little narrative war. I didn't reply to anyone. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. Because while she was chasing sympathy, I was quietly setting the stage. That evening I sent her a text. Dinner tomorrow. One last conversation. No scenes this time. She replied after an hour. If it'll give you closure, fine. 7 p.m. at the place on Birch Avenue. Closure. Funny word. She had no idea how much closure she was about to get. The next night I arrived first. The restaurant was small and intimate, candlelight reflecting off wine glasses, soft music humming through the air. We'd had our first anniversary dinner here. Back then, she'd reached across the table and whispered, "Promise me we'll never become one of those couples who fake it." Now here we were, pretending again. Leah walked in 10 minutes late, of course. She looked stunning, deliberate, polished, like someone attending an interview. Her confidence was armor. She sat down, folding her napkin with the same precision she used to arrange her lies. "You wanted to talk," she said lightly. "Let's make it quick." I smiled faintly. "Sure. But first, thank you for meeting me." She arched an eyebrow. "I didn't come for pleasantries, Marcus." "I know." I took a slow sip of water. "I just thought we should at least acknowledge what happened." Her expression hardened. "I told you it wasn't personal. I needed to be honest. I can't help how I feel." "Honest?" I repeated softly. "Leah, what you did wasn't honesty. It was performance. You didn't just break up with me. You turned it into entertainment." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on. Don't be dramatic. Everyone knew we weren't working anymore." "Everyone?" I tilted my head. "You mean your coworkers? Or Evan?" Her fork clinked against her plate. "This again." I leaned back, watching her. You know, I wasn't planning on saying anything. I wanted to let it go. But then I saw the video. She stiffened. "What video?" "The one your friend Rachel posted. The one that went viral." I smiled faintly. "You looked beautiful in it, by the way. Brave even. The way you rehearsed every line. Impressive." Color drained from her face. "Rehearsed?" He nodded. "It's funny how I found the earlier takes on your shared office drive. The ones you and Evan filmed 2 nights before the rooftop party." Her lips parted, breath-catching. "You went through my files." "I didn't have to. You left the drive logged in on our home computer." I met her eyes. "You titled it, Project Freedom. Cute name, by the way." Her mask cracked then, just slightly but enough. Her fingers tightened around her glass. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered finally. "It wasn't supposed to be like that." I studied her face, the tremor in her voice. "Then what was it supposed to be?" She swallowed. "It was just a statement. For me. For women who feel stuck in relationships that don't serve them anymore. My boss wanted to use it as a campaign idea, something real. Something raw. So I was content," I said quietly. "A prop for your authenticity." Her eyes glistened. "Marcus, please." "I'm not angry," I interrupted gently. "In fact, I wanted to help you finish your story." She frowned. "What do you mean?" I reached into my jacket and placed a small black drive on the table. "This contains copies of every message between you and Evan, every meeting log you tried to delete from your work email, and the video drafts you never meant anyone to see. The ones where you laugh about how viral it'll go." She went pale. "Marcus." "I also sent them," I continued calmly, "to your company's HR inbox. They have a strict policy about using brand campaigns for personal stunts, especially ones involving coworkers." Her eyes widened. "You didn't." I leaned forward, my tone still even. "I did. And I CC'd your boss, since he seemed so passionate about your raw storytelling." She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her breath hitched audibly. The composure she'd worn like perfume began to dissolve, replaced by real fear. "Marcus, please. You'll ruin everything." "No," I said softly. "I'm just returning the favor. You wanted an audience. Now you'll have one." For a long moment, silence hung between us, thick, suffocating. The waiter approached, hesitated, then quietly turned back. Leah's eyes were glossy now, her lips trembling. "Do you hate me?" she asked finally, voice barely audible. "Thought about it." The nights she'd fallen asleep beside me, murmuring promises she never meant. The trust I'd given freely, and the way she'd paraded its corpse for applause. "No," I said honestly. "I don't hate you. I just see you now, without the lights, without the filters. And that's enough." She stared at me, lost for words. Then, almost desperately, she reached across the table. "We can fix this, Marcus. Please." I made a mistake. I looked down at her hand, manicured, trembling, and gently moved mine away. "Some mistakes," I said quietly, "don't need fixing. They need remembering." I stood up, leaving the drive where it was. She called after me once, then again louder, her voice cracking. Heads turned. Every eye in the restaurant found her. For the first time, she was the one performing without control, and there was no applause left to give. I walked out into the night, the city's noise swallowing her voice behind me. No anger, no triumph, just peace, the kind that only comes when you stop trying to make sense of someone else's chaos. A week later I saw her video again. Not the rooftop one, that had vanished after HR got involved, but a different clip. Shaky camera, harsh lighting. Someone had recorded her at work, crying as she packed her things. No audience this time. No applause. Just silence. I didn't share it. I didn't need to. I simply closed my laptop and stared out the window, watching the city hum below me. She'd once said I made everything make sense. Maybe she was right. 'Cause now, finally, everything did.